As a youth baseball coach, are you teaching the right things to your pitchers, or are you still giving them bad teaches, maybe from your childhood, that are actually making your pitchers worse? In today's video, I'm going to give you 5 bad teaches that you should stop teaching right now as a pitching coach. So if you're new here, I'm Dan Blewett. I'm a former pro pitcher, and I'm also someone who is taught many of the things that you'll find in this video. And I'm also someone who continues to learn as I get older and has to rethink some of the things that I thought were true for most of my, maybe pitching career or coaching career. We're always learning new stuff, and pitching has changed a lot, even though it has stayed the same in many, many ways as well. Number 1, it is a bad teach to tell pitchers to point the ball to center field. This is called early pronation, where we're pronating, we're turning our wrist away, and it serves no purpose whatsoever. I was taught this as a kid. A lot of us were. It's unclear where this came from, but if you look at slow motion video of some of your favorite MLB pitchers, you will find that they do not do this. Now, as the pitcher's arm goes through its circle, you might see that at some point the ball faces towards center field. That's normal, but that's not me turning my wrist towards center field, which is what this coaching cue implies. As my arm goes through its circle, the ball eventually gets there as it comes back up, but my wrist is remaining neutral the whole time. Now, let's think about this logically, and I'll show you what happens here. So as I circle through with a neutral wrist, I land, my arm lays back, my hand is behind the ball, and now my hand is on top of the ball. That's what every pitcher in the world does. If I turn the ball away and I angle it to center field, now as I rotate, look where my arm is as it accelerates. The ball is facing the third base side. That makes no sense at all. There's no reason to teach pitchers to turn the ball to center field. So if you were taught this as a kid and now you're coaching, let this one go. It's a bad teach. Number 2, you should never ask a pitcher to shorten their stride. This is something that I was told back in the day. Someone said, hey, if you want to get on top of that curveball, you just shorten your stride a little bit, right? One thing I noticed during my pro career about myself and every other pitcher is we all land in the same exact spot every single time. If you go to a Major League Baseball game and you look at the mound, if you got invited onto the field after the game, you would notice they land in the same exact spot every single time. The idea that I can consciously control landing 72 inches for my regular stride and then landing 69 inches or 68 inches on changeups is crazy. I don't have the body control to do that. As a pitcher, we have to have our body on autopilot. I pick my pitch. I practice so much that once I pick my pitch, I just do my thing. It's like I start this pre-programmed autopilot system. I understand the logic. If I have a shorter stride, it sort of vaults me over my front leg a little bit easier. So I get that there's logic there, but in reality, as a pitcher, we don't have the mental bandwidth to consciously control and be precise to land shorter when we want to on demand. Our job is to be as repeatable as possible and throw the ball into the strike zone as often as possible. Number 3, never ask your pitchers to slow their back leg down or drag their back leg on some pitches rather than others. I have also heard this as old advice. If you're gonna throw your changeup, just keep your back leg down and that helps slow the changeup down. Hopefully you've never heard that tip, but it doesn't work. We have to go through our mechanics on autopilot, and what our back leg does, releasing energy after we've strided down the mound, whatever our back leg does is what it should do. To try to consciously control my back leg, to stick it to the ground, is way beyond the scope of what we have to ask ourselves to do as pitchers. I have to be focused on making good pitch. I have to be repeating my delivery to then say, okay, while I'm releasing the ball, then think about dragging my back leg only on select pitches is crazy. As a pitching coach, you should be building resilient, repeatable pitchers who go on autopilot once they've chosen their pitch and they're gonna ram the ball through the catcher's mitt. To ask them to control their back leg is both impossible, impractical, and gonna derail their ability to make good pitches. All right, next one. Pitching coaches, do not ask your pitchers to land on their toe. This was something I was taught as a kid, that if we land on our toe, I don't even remember what the benefit was, to be quite honest. But if you look at slow motion video of all the best pitchers in the world, they all land on their heel for the most part. The overwhelming majority land on their heel, and then they sort of rock into that front foot landing fully, or they land on their flat foot. You will find some pitchers who land slightly on the ball of their foot, but this idea that we should be pointing our toe and then trying to land on it, A, it creates a ton of tension in our front leg, and B, it doesn't allow us to shift our weight properly. If I'm keeping weight in my back leg and reaching out, you'll see automatically my toe tends to go up. Pick any major league pitcher and you'll see the same pattern. We're pushing against the ground with our back leg to create force in our hip, and then we're reaching out while keeping this weight back, and that requires our front foot to sort of rise up and that toe to point up. That's why we land on our heel. So please don't ask your pitchers to counteract that by then pointing, which I can feel how much that tenses me up with my calf and my whole leg. And then it forces me to want to shift my weight too soon. Again, you might find a couple outlier pitchers that do this, but it's very, very rare. And there's a reason that the overwhelming majority land on their heel or their flat foot. And my last bad teach are T drills. Having pitchers do their throwing drills started in this T position, whether it's here or it's here or it's here, it doesn't have any real benefit. Yes, we want you to be in this position where your arm is slightly above parallel when you've landed, right? And now the arm lays back as we make our throw. We want to land in that position, but practicing that landed position has no benefit in getting us to that landed position. So any throwing drill you do should encourage getting them to be in that position on their way to accelerating the ball. Telling you, okay, this is where I want you to be, it doesn't fix how your hands separate. It doesn't fix how your elbow then pulls back. Those are the things that get you into that position in the first place. The body moves as a unit, it moves in synchronicity, and it needs to always be in motion for the most part. So what I would suggest, instead of doing these fixed T drills, even if you're wiggling your lower half and making it a rocker drill or something, instead of doing this, just simplify it where, say they start here, and now I'm going to move through that position. That's a much better way to do that drill, where I'm actually training my body to get to that position from movement and then continue on, rather than just starting in this static spot that doesn't teach me how to get into that motion or really what happens next. Because when I don't have momentum from this spot, like my arm isn't actually moving into this spot, now it's more unnatural to throw from that. I don't like throwing from these because my arm doesn't lay back as well as it ordinarily would when my arm is moving into that position along with the action of the rest of my body, my hips and my core. So don't ask your players to do these static drills. They really don't have any benefit for their mechanics. Instead, swap them with drills that encourage them to get to those positions through motion. So thanks for watching. Check out my books and online courses, which you'll find in the description below, including my beginner pitching course and my advanced pitching course, which are great guides for youth baseball coaches, and my brand new book, The Art of the Mound Visit, which you'll find in the description below. In The Art of the Mound Visit, you'll learn tons of soft skills, how to manage your bullpen, how to help pitchers through their in-game struggles, and how to be a coach that creates an amazing dugout culture for all of your players. All right. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you here in the next video.